sort of continuing the story, and along the lines we were just talking about, when Nido Sensei knew I was moving back to the East Coast, he said, if you get a chance to practice with Professor Cheng Man Cheng, you should do it.
Okay.
And I knew who he was.
Right.
I actually had a book that he and Bob Smith wrote together. So one of my Aikido students was studying with Bob Smith. He had a class in Bethesda, Maryland, outside of Washington. At the time, he was still working. He was still at the CIA. Bob Smith was. So I went over and started training in both Tai Chi, and Smith had also studied Bagua and Xingyi in Taiwan. And so he was teaching that, so I got to do some of that with him. But he took me up to New York along with some of the other students, so we got to meet Professor Cheng and then got to train with him on a pretty regular basis. And so that was an amazing experience to work with someone who had achieved that level. The thing that was mind-boggling about Professor Cheng wasn't just how good he was at Tai Chi, but if you go back to his life in China, in mainland China, in a country, give or take, of 1 billion people at the time, he was one of the most famous artists. So he spent the rest of his life going back and forth between Taiwan and New York. And that's where I got to practice with him through the good auspices of Bob Smith.